opening range trade. So let this be the first.
Yeah,
Let this be the first. Let's
yeah,
let's begin the streak. Let's begin the streak today.
yeah. Well, if you're the bad luck, or we may not have to, we may not have you back, Ray. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to have a conversation, right?
I'll have you
All
back.
right, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, being creative. I mean, Ray, Eddie, I've worked with a lot of traders. You guys have worked with a lot of traders. I find that people that are always seeking the right answer are
Hmm.
going to have a hard time. And to me, that's mathematicians and engineers.
Yeah, yeah. You have to let go. There's definitely a level of art to this, right? You can't explain everything that goes on in the charts. And if you go down that path, you're going to be it's going to life of frustration. To be honest.
I've got two brothers that are engineers. They
Hmm.
both need to know the answer. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
okay, it went down, but why?
yeah. Because it did.
Well, it's
Because it
it's a
did.
mindset. It's a mindset.
Yeah,
It's a healthy mindset.
yeah. Well, I mean
I
that's how
agree.
they're trained as engineers, right? You can't be wrong as an engineer. You have to understand the reason
Oh no.
why something happened, right?
Hmm.
The bridge does
Yeah,
not
if you're
stay up.
wrong, bridges
Order
fall.
filled.
Bridges fall, right? Things break. So yeah, it's indoctrinated.
Hey, Andrew. Andrew, as a former engineer, I approve of this message, Hogue.
Got another one there.
Yeah.
Our Bazafi is an
Our
engineer. He
Basnet, the
agrees.
engineer here, it is true. Yes.
Sodbuster as well.
So now everybody wants to buy a train. No, no, no. Engine number 9 going down Chicago line.
But the nice thing about it is they tend to be process based, right? So,
Yeah.
right, if they set aside the feeling of always needing to be right, right? They're able to break things down and follow processes pretty well. So there is a skill set that they bring to trading for sure.
Even the even the economists don't know where these markets are going.
Order
Sad as it is.
filled.
Well, that's a hit and a miss sort of occupation.
So Josh is asking about initial balance high, initial balance low, and
Hmm.
really the initial balance is just the first hour of the session, and so the high of that first hour and the low of that first hour is the initial balance high, initial balance low, and basically the idea behind that is that that's where the market is being established. If you read books, there's a number of books on this.
Order
Jim
filled.
Dalton, Peter Stoudemire, a lot of books on this topic. But yeah, it's just establishing the marketplace, finding the buyers and finding the sellers. That's what the initial balance range is about.
Order
Keeping in
filled.
mind on the buyers here, we've got ES 75% long here
Hmm.
in the tilt, and we continue.
Order filled.
Josh, sometimes, well, some people say that the initial balance is no longer valid or important. Even Jim
Oh, really?
Dalton says that. Yes.
Oh, okay.
There are
Okay.
people in the chat that talk about it all the time. IB means nothing. It's all about value. But I
Hmm.
find that the
Order
initial balance
filled.
high and the initial balance low, the first hour of the trading session, whether it be the overnight session or the regular trading hour session, still gives me really sometimes some good reference levels and sometimes some
Absolutely.
good opportunities. So
Absolutely.
there's always two sides to everything, and there's nothing
Hmm.
that works every time, and there's nothing that never works. It's all in your ability to manage your risk in and around these um these levels, okay, these
Right.
reference levels.
Right.
There's reference levels are reference levels. Nuance is nuance. Sometimes we'll see a nuance where the market that has stacked nuances to the long side. We'll be looking to trade to the long side, maybe based off of something in and around the initial balance low or the initial balance high. But the initial balance really started in the pits, uh, with the kind of advent of market profile. The locals in the pit, the traders trading their own accounts, would take that first hour and just kind of let the market rotate inside a range and establish that range to look for areas where two-sided trade can occur, because a lot of those traders were trading both sides of the market. They were on the bid and they were on the offer. If they got hit on the bid, they'd try and sell the offer. If they couldn't sell the offer, they'd hit the bid. They'd try and buy the bid again. They'd try and sell the offer. True scalpers, pretty much
Yeah.
what the algos do now.
Yeah.
They were the true scalpers, and they were the ones that were really looking for some kind of balance in the market with which to kind of trade both sides. You could stand in the pit and be 30 bid at a half and get hit on both at the same time. Just kind of print money that way. If it was busy, sometimes that would happen. But I mean, that's really the kind of the advent or the birth of the initial balance. And again, nothing lasts forever, right? And things are
Yeah.
always changing. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that the opening range or the initial balance is no longer valid. I find it to be useful in certain situations and at certain
Yeah.
moments.
It's a way to frame the market, I think, like you said, and there's a way to get to levels. And then if you look at it long enough, you'll see that these levels over are often respected, right? So if it leaves the initial balance range, it often comes back to that area and offers us continuation trade, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, don't it's a tool. It's a tool just like other tools.
Awesome. Anastasios, it makes me happy. If you find it useful and it works for you, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, we are 8:20, and I want to let everyone know what we've got look ahead here for Top Step TV. Lots of great stuff coming up here. Um, and I'm excited to share this that we've got coming up for Fast Markets. We've got Coach Dakota and Barron, number 6 on the big board, number 42 on the big board, are going to be trading with us next year. We're going to be talking with them more about their daily routine and how they prepare for each trading morning. Don't go away. We're not going to take a break. We're going to go right into Fast Markets. So you don't want to miss anything here. Coming up also, Rising Star, Shivanish with Andre and Gabe. We also got Coach Hoop going to join us for Lunchbox Trading with Coach Jay and Hogue. Coming up at 1 o'clock, Rising Star again. We got Nicholas R. with Gabe and Hogue. And Francis Green, possibly, maybe number 2 on the big board, Lisa, going to be joining Andre for Power Hour. So let's keep that in mind here. And of course,
Thank you, Ray.
I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing here is financial advice or suggestion or recommendation to do anything. Do your own research. Decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts. And the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money. Links, codes in my content, like Top One Futures, code RDF, and a bunch of other ones. Can't stand to be unbiased if I stand to make money. Now, let me get my chart opened up, and we will bring in special guest Haynes. Let me get this one shared with you guys. Nice. Markets opened up. We are looking at ES here on Top Futures. But let's get Randy brought in. I had the pleasure of meeting him in Tampa. He is part of ASFX's crew. He's in their Black Shirt Club. He's taking payouts from prop firms, Top One Futures, which is awesome. Excited to bring him in here. His insights, his story, whatever the heck he wants to share. That's how we run this show. Welcome in, Randy. Happy to have you on, man. What's going on?
Awesome, Zach. Thanks for having me here. No, I'm good. I'm just looking at so far here we are back with almost volatility again with the Trump news. So
yeah, dude, it's been wild. I'm gonna pull up the daily real quick. We'll get a little bit of analysis in. Yeah, these markets have been wild, man. We felt like we were gonna cool off a little bit, and then this big push overnight. I know we had video earnings and some stuff yesterday, but we had a big push overnight. Looking at the daily chart, way above this area right here, traded out to like these 6,010s almost on
6,008.
There you go. Yeah, 6,008 here on the ES chart. And then right back down right now below yesterday's high, kind of tapping yesterday's close. Looking at this on the 15-minute. Yeah, this is pretty gnarly, man. Big push up, big reversion down, and now opening up side, tracking below this little area consolidation starting to put in. Not quite the overnight low, which was down here when we had session changeover, but yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to trade for sure. Now you're on ES, right, Andy? Recording.
Yes, boy, I'm on ES, and I know that number 6,008 really well because I had my overnight trade and it missed me by a tick, and came back on me and got stopped out while I was.
Dang, man.
It's an aggressive account I'm trading, so this is the account I'll look for these moves in, and I'll look for these trades where I'll hold it longer, and you know what I mean. So I'm totally okay with the loss. It is what it is. But it had 6,010 as you know my original target, so 6,008 was a naked point of control for me. So, and it literally went there to a tick, and it came reversed.
Man, yeah, I've had a lot of those. I've had a lot of those on screen lately, where my entry is missed by ticks, point, or I get real close on a level being hit, and it's a game of inches off the bat, man. Trading's really a game of inches. But I think it's all about when that happens, how you react, right? Because it can be so frustrating and so difficult to deal with, like that type of missed by, a tick type of deal. That's enough to like send you spiraling. So if you can just say, hey, market real random on the short term, not going to be able to catch every single one, happen, and not go crazy, not go on tilt. I think that's that's the big takeaway with those types of tough situations.
Yeah, for sure. Those ones, when you're first learning to trade, those ones hurt. I would say the most because you think, you're right in every sense of it with the trade, the thesis, the direction, everything, and you just get, the market just didn't want you to take profits, obviously. But once you get to a point where you can, be okay with the outcome, win or lose, I think it's like you said, it's just the way you feel those losses for sure that will set you up for the day. So.
what's up, chat? See, we got a bunch of people saying good morning, good morning, good morning. Awesome to have you here. Again, we got special guest Randy Baines on here today. We are looking at ES wild market movement overnight. Just to kind of frame this for you guys that are on here for what I'm looking at. I'm staying patient off the open. I usually don't like to get involved first 15 minutes. That's something that got set up and played out really nicely yesterday with the first couple minutes, but as always, I try to stay patient, try to wait it out. Big push up in the night session, held up here, and then late London into pre-market, sold back off above VWAP, all the way back down into yesterday's daily candle range. Here's prior day high, value area high, morning control, value area low down here. We got yesterday's low all the way here, right around that 58.90 level. I can see a couple things happening, right? Just to do the high time frame speculation, from 1 to here, I can see us coming back out to just fill that way from the upside and really run for the hills today. Know that we get that. I don't know that we get that. This is pretty aggressive selling the open. It could be the pullback down, clean everybody out before start to push. It could really do a wick above and form a bearish candle and come all the way down below yesterday's low. So it's a long way of saying I'm not sure, and I'm going to stay unbiased. Looking at Bookmap, I pull this up on the main screen, and it's pretty flat. Not a ton of standout left or below price.
42,774.
No.
42,806.
There, pull back off. Another big round psychological number. Some odd points below 5,900. We do have liquidity down there. It's pretty thick right now, down at 59.20. Got like 100 on the book down there as well. So I'm going to stay somewhat unbiased in the direction. I don't have a massive setup off of this type of structure right off the open. I could see aggressively long if we come down into overnight low, prior week's point of control, like the 920s, and then start to pop back up. But I'm a little bit cautious off this open. I think that would be potential first setup. Would be looking for a long play around the 920s. Again, why? We got a ton of levels down here overlapping. So I pay attention to. Could be picking up some liquidity down around the overnight low, right? Overnight low session. And we've got quite a bit on the book down there. Not a ton, but we've got some on the book down there.
42,106.
On this little range box, so if I see something like that playing out, you start to push the hit move. I don't know that I would want to fade it. So let's see if we start to sell off here.
Yeah,
I have no.
I
Go
can
ahead,
see
go
that. I can see that. I can see 920. I got previous day's point of control down there, and I can see that coming back down there, and then seeing whether the buyers are gonna keep this thing afloat, or I think if we take that level, we could look for a slide down to yesterday's lows, New York lows. So.
Yeah, it would definitely be counter, right? We're below VWAP. It would counter to this kind of low time frame, selling off since this overnight session. So it would be somewhat aggressive, somewhat counter to that initial move. Maybe in line with the higher time frame, big push to the upside. But I think that would be a decision making point, right? Like I wouldn't mind getting involved there. That point stop. If we rip through that to the downside, I could see us really sliding off, like you said, towards Friday low, potentially, way down lower. Really will turn this into a bear today. Now tell me what you're looking at. Are a VWAP trader volume levels? What's a setup kind of look like coming to the open for you?
Just like you, I'll put a little bit of an asterisk on it, but I don't trade the opening the first 15 minutes of the New York Open. I will now in the last probably month, I've refined that a little bit. I might get in a trade, say at 9:42, but I'll at least the first 10 minutes of the New York Open, I'll let shake out. I won't take a trade. But if I see price trending in the right direction, aligning with the VWAPs, I might get the opening range sets. Like you can kind of see when the volatility, the volume kind of shakes out. And when, so that's something I'll say. Like if you ever watch any of my videos and you see me take a trade at 9:42, don't be upset. Don't be upset with me. Right? But no, so mainly looking at the VWAP. I have volume profile up for my levels, kind of just to give me an idea where I think price could be going, or levels for reactions. And then I'm using the opening range and initial balance, and then Bookmap. Obviously, Bookmap is probably number 2 behind the VWAP for me. And then I'll look at volume profile and that. So I'm basically looking right now. I thought the electronic trading hours on could be a typically move overnight. We had, these volume pressure. So I had the electronic trading hours still on. And we're sitting on previous days New York VWAP on ES. And that's where price is bouncing. So it's an interesting level for me, but I don't, such a move down, I don't want to fight the New York VWAP either. So as much as, you could say the price is long, I need some more confluence. And this could easily, like you said, we could come back down to 15 and 20 like that.
Yeah. No, I got you. I could, it would be an extension really to come down, and that's a great breakdown, man. Back to what you said first there. I'm the same, right? I'm somewhat discretionary with, with how I enter and what I do. I try to have guardrails based on data, and for me, first 15 minutes just shows me it's just not a great edge for me. I have outsized amount quantity of pieces, so I try to keep myself out. Yesterday was an example of one that would have played out really nice, but about 9 minutes in. So yeah, if I find something really, really, really clean, right around that first 15 minutes, I might look for it. Back and forth, man. Like it can play so nicely, but like I've had sessions on here. I've had sessions where I go 2 back-to-back losses, like 10, 12 minutes of the open, and I'm like, all right, my day, and then, so it set the tone, right? It's kind of tough. But
Well, it wasn't until in our group we actually, and as like a group exercise, playbook our first 15 minutes and looked at all of our trades, and it was quite surprising. Everybody was losing the opening trading deal, because you would have winners that were really big winners that you would obviously, but you would have losers, so many of them, like you locked them out of your. So I caught it at the lowest price, and I took the New York VWAP and it went to the moon, and that's the only thing I remember. But you forget about the 10 losses it took to get there.
Exactly, all the ones you racked up. Yeah, I mean, again, it feels good because it moves so quick, so you jump in quick and get that volatility. But I would challenge a lot of guys to throw some trade. If you're trading really, really high volatility times, news, right at session changeovers, open, earnings. What's the data show for that? And again, it's not that people can't make it work, right? There's definitely plenty of different ways to trade, and if you're big on momentum, volatility, like I see guys do it, but it's few and far between that I see them do it really well with a lot of. I think you're like that kind of trader. Like you're this momentum news style trader where you're either jumping right in on these moves, rallying stops really aggressively, scaling in, scaling out, or you kind of say, hey, that's not the cup of tea for me,
Yeah.
at least.
And I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm honest, being honest, I don't think I've heard one person say that they trade for 50 here in Open. Like any professional trader that I'm following for educational content, they all don't trade for the first 15 minutes.
Yep. I see we got Austin in the chat. What's up? ASFX Austin Silver says, why can't I send super chat? What kind of amateur hour shit is this? Austin, we're gonna have to get that set up. Appreciate you hopping on. But yeah, man. We'll get that rolling. I want to set money. Yeah, man. If you guys can HD, we talked about earlier, Randy is in Master Club. He is coming out on the campus seminar. Yeah, we got a whole bunch of cool stuff cooking, man. Podcast. If you want to check out what we got rolling, click on that ASFX logo in the chat right there, man. Subscribe to that channel. The last one that dropped, the roundtable, was a great discussion on prop firm got going on in the space. We'll get another one dropping this Saturday. There's giveaways on those drops as well. Really, really fun stuff. Austin, just go along one giveaway money. But Yeah, appreciate everybody hopping on as always, man. Fun to do these. You see the banner that I got up, 50K instant funded account giveaway, just to hype everybody up a little bit more. We might have one of those rolling later this show. Might have one rolling later this live session. You know the drill. Smash like, smash subscribe. Those start to climb. Might drop a form. No purchase necessary. Somebody gets funded with the 50K account. Might, right? Don't hold me to the fire. We'll see. Oh, I like to get hyped up. We got guests on here, and when we got a wild market selling off back down area high right now, 89.33. Yes, I'm still hanging tight. Gonna see what we have here. Again down towards 520s, man. Book looks pretty thick. Yeah, let's see if I can share this one. Get book that. There we go. And I'm not the quickest with yeah, not the quickest with StreamYard yet, but I'm getting there. This is Bookmap, my order flow tool. That's what we're looking at here. This is live and pretty in the futures market. We're looking at ES right here, and this is what I'm talking about. We've got quite a bit on the book, coming all through the 920s. After the 920s, it starts to drop off, right? So I don't use Bookmap. Start using my volume tool. If I was going to look for a really aggressive long, only play that I have. Again, aggressive because we've been selling off overnight, selling off into the open, so I can certainly get my face ripped off here. I'd be looking for down around this 59.20. I don't know that I would dive in front of it if we just start to sell off right towards it, but I could see potentially these buy orders filling, build here, and then get a reaction at least back up to like his temporary volume point of control. We have background like the 59.40s. I don't know that I would hold it to the moon. But just go for a small scalp style trade. Would be right at that prior week's point of control. I have it dead set at that 59. Oh, excuse me. It's not prior week's point of control now. I'm not sure. At prior days at the 922 overnight low for today is 59.16 and a half. So I could be looking for a long around that level. That's Bookmap, favorite order flow tool. No magic, just gives you some additional information what's going on behind the candlesticks.
This is one of those instances where I'd almost look at the opposite side of that shorter previous day's point of control, but a rule that I'm really not following is not taking the first break of the opening range. Usually I'll get a pull back up to the off and I'll get, whatever, I'll be either in drawdown or switched out.
Yep. So trading more directionally walk with the trend, Randy, or are you a psychopath like me and finding the counter to be easier?
I don't know, honestly. I gotta really think about that question, to be honest. That's the first time someone's asked me like that, so.
Yeah, no, I got you. I mean, I could definitely see clear trend setting up, right, where we are selling off, we're cracking this 15-minute open range to the bottom. It looks weak through the 920s, so we could definitely say, hey, we're getting ready to sell off at that level. There we go. We're going to see the downside. This could be really dicey for me looking at this. I like to acknowledge when I am creating counter to what's been going on, but I think if we do see a bounce, it's likely going to be around that level.
Yeah. So for me, and so I kind of like, I kind of think about that question, but for me, and he's trading like conservative accounts right now. They're pretty close to, like 80, close to the profit target for a payout. So those have a hard rule that will not fight the VWAP. So in the aggressive account, and if I saw like exactly what you're saying, because I could see that presenting too, off of that previous day's point of control, and the buyer stepping back in and catching a nice long, I would, in my aggressive account, I'll look at that trade, but I have different trading styles for my
Very cool.
and the ones I'm conservative, I'm copy trading 2 accounts. I'm and those are my accounts I want to work towards getting a path to live. So
Nice. Yeah, no, it's cool. Cool to spread risk. Kind of have different approaches or at least styles per account. I think that could be a good way to do it. I got all three daisy chained together right here. That I've been pretty back and forth in some profit now, getting closer towards that profit target with a consistency rule. Bounce here. Sorry, I'm just watching the market now. It started to sell off. Found buyers around that six level, 25 level. I'm still interested if we converse higher. We found support somewhere down here. We started to push way higher, back like to the 50s or so, back up to this middle ground of area of high volume, and then we sold back off. I wouldn't get long. I would just that is way too much downtrend structure, and my level not getting hit.
do you look at NQLs for confluences or?
I really don't. I really don't. I'm kind of the purist on the one chart type of guy, for better or for worse. I've done it in the past quite a bit. Looked at a whole bunch of different markets, tried to find correlation and watch charts. And for example, like Tanner does that. He has like YM, NQ, ES all open. He's got QQ and SPX open. You have this whole like terminal. So I know it works for guys. For me, it seemed to confuse me more, and just
Yeah.
work out well some days. Yeah, and then I'd be fighting it on other days. But I found myself like the NQ chart on ES or vice versa. But
I just NQ right now found support at its previous day value area high. Areas like ES and NQ are both at levels, so this is what we were kind of our thesis coming into this was if the buyer step back in at these levels. So.
yep, this is it. Got real close to just about 6 points off that level that I'm watching, right around that 50, 920 level. We have some liquidity. No, I think it'd be helpful. I think I've talked to than not do watch multiple markets, especially highly correlated listings like that. That would be helpful, right? Like, and well, that was in big on VWAP, right? Like heavy on VWAP like a lot of us. But he's gonna watch VWAP across all of these assets, and like if he gets a half of VWAP on Q, not NQ, he might wait, or if he gets a bounce off of both of them, right? Kind of like it forms a zone of that type of deal. So I'm just that interesting. I think that could be pretty interesting to look at.
And he's trading the V1. Like he's trading like almost like you would be like that counter, right? Like looking for the V1 or down the V1.
Yep, much more counter, really aggressive entries, kind of that lower win rate, higher risk to reward, where you're going to take small haircuts on the way to a larger trade playing out, and then coming out great. But yeah, I'm more counter, more reversion, especially on these morning moves. It must just be a byproduct of watching it, just watching these patterns play. But oftentimes we just kind of pull this crazy volatility at the open, go and tap whatever level we want to tap, and then kind of revert back to the mean, right? Revert back to where we've been hanging out, that area of consolidation before the open. So what we're getting right now is validating my initial long setup off these ones. But I like that. I like that for an initial play. And then, as we start to develop a trend or pick a direction, I'm much more confident about the big net. Here we are pulling back up, man. Could get the continuation of this dip. So yeah, would you look for something like a short play on a pullback like this, or is this still a hold?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence. Even on the short play, I wanted to see how I was looking for price to come back down to the value. I had a 59.30 level, find some support, and then look to go long. That's how I was kind of looking at this now. But then, if you get short, I'd have to be taking profit somewhere in those 30s or that low. So it's not ideal. Like there's not a big risk to reward there for me to validate up, if that makes sense. Like I can see short move to the upside and downside. I could see today being choppy like we had the last few weeks. We had these big move days, and the next day just chop city.
Dude, like a ton of that. And again, I have been really patient, really cautious, because this is what we've got. Like overnight session through Asia and London, like huge movement,
Yeah.
huge movements. And then what we had a lot last week was ridiculous with the Chop Fest during NYSC, but we had these really just difficult to deal with back and forth choppy movements for NYSC session, man. So yeah, well, 100%. I'm cautious. I'm playing off my levels. I'm waiting for stuff to get hit. If it doesn't set up for me, I know I should be staying patient because there's too many times where I finish off red, I look back, and it's just straight barcode garbage, and I go, why was I pushing it? There was nothing here for me. So I would definitely agree with that.
Now we got news. We got news at 7 o'clock. So,
Okay.
sorry, news at 10 a.m. I'm on the West Coast. So.
Yeah, gotcha. It's early for you, man. We got home sales coming. Pending home sale, orange folder, pack 10 a.m. We look pretty clear for the rest of the day, but we do have quite a bit of FOMC speakers into the afternoon, so could be dicey. But we got through the main stuff. Red folder 8:30 tomorrow. Yeah, that's red folder 8:30 a.m. and then 10 a.m. tomorrow. That's a rejection off of
Now the seller stepped right back. You know, we react at these 30s now.
Yeah, again, so here's my setup, right? Like, if we just drift right into a key level area that I'm watching, where we move there pretty impulsively, like a fast sell off down to these 20s, I'm much more inclined to get involved on that initial bounce. If we form this really clean downtrend structure, breaking and retesting, just continuing lower, I don't like the idea as much of jumping in at an area. Okay, that trend's over. So, that's kind of the thought process, right? Like, how do we get to a level? What does price action structure volume look like getting to that level? And this is not as ideal, but I'm interested to see what happens. Looking at down around these low points. Woody's still there on book map. Still see us filling and catching a bounce there, but I don't love it as much now that we pulled all the way back up. Temporary volume point of controls. It's on a very low time frame. You can kind of bottom that structure, bottom that area of consolidation pad for market open, and now we're selling back off. So it's looking pretty down.
I don't know why I feel like today's going to be choppy. I think this news is going to come in, shake some people up, and then it's just going to sit here and stay within like a 15, 25 million going.
Yeah, I think like more often than not now, maybe it's recency bias. I'm like, this is just gonna be a chop fest, man. This is just gonna be back and forth wiki. But I could see the larger movement either direction on a day like today where we just had such big movement overnight. Like, I think it would have to be pretty gnarly to fly to step back in all the way back up, completely erase this, pull back down. If we sell off, man, I think it could get ugly, right? Looking at just a higher time frame view of this, on the daily, if this flips bearish, like this could be really really ugly to the downside. We wicked above these highs, could not sustain that at all. If we want to for now, coming up to the second. So do we fill this back out, form a nice clean big bullish bar? Do we just chop around and big quick to the upside GS and have a choppy session? Or do we really start to sell off down these 20s, down through the lows, and like come way back down lower, kind of retest another area that we consolidated at earlier. So I'm not going to go out on a limb and say just chop today, but go into my head on every. What is interesting, man? This is something that these structures jerked off of. Such a large movement overnight. I don't think about it.
So uneven with low impact news, so it just goes completely dark.
Yep. Very dark. Everything off. Yeah, here we are. 10 a.m. 20 seconds. We are having some medium impact news right now, chat. New home sales. What's going on, chat? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Tap in. What's going on? Appreciate you guys hopping on, man. As always, trade live, have these wild markets. Like we talked about, we might have a 10 instant funded from here's giveaway today. Might. Let's see those likes climb. I don't know. We're not dropping a form just yet, but we might have one. I don't know. I like to do it when guests are on. We're getting late in the week. Haven't ran one this week yet. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. While we're watching this market shop, I'll show you guys this. Have 55% off plus no daily loss limit. You can use code RGF or you can use Randy's code. Randy, what's the code for the
TRB.
TRB? You want to support
Yes.
Randy's his journey, man. He is with Top One as well. Code TRB. One of these is going to get you 55% off plus no daily loss limit. I was talking about this behind the scenes with a bunch of different guys that are hyped on these accounts. We've had some different rule changes. If you want to look at those, hop in their Discord, go back to Friday's live stream. I took the first part of that live stream to talk about it, give you my 2 cents. But if you look at the 50K instant funded accounts, with the changes, there is a very, very solid opportunity there. It's definitely something I'm going to be considering if I come off of this 150. If you look at the max loss limit to profit target and the max payout that you get to take on that first payout, it's very attractive. So I encourage you guys, if you're looking at Top One Futures, you want to check this stuff out. Links in the chat. Check out code TRB. Sorry, Randy.
Yes, TRB.
TRB for this. Yeah, man. Check that out and check out that 50K account. I got a video at the editor that actually just got back this morning. I'm gonna be dropping that soon. Doing some side by sides for everything else in the market. Remember, guys, I'm biased. I'm partnered. I'm affiliated. I can't stand to be unbiased. If I stand money or to be transparent, you guys want to check that out? You are back on. Yeah, and again, what we're looking at here, guys, for a lot of you that asked, this is Project X with Top One funded. Love this integrated trading view chart. Project X is my preferred platform, but get a lot of people that hop on and think it's Top Step. Around Project X here.
What indicator are you using for the volume there?
So on the right hand side here, this is This is visible range volume profile. So VR. It's kind of interesting. I have it colors, then I have the bars increase to so it chops it up a little bit.
Yeah.
They pretty much are, which is it's just getting a little too messy for my liking. I'm gonna have to clean this up. But I'll tell you how I run this. I've got really only 3 indicators: visible range, volume profile, standard volume, traditional volume, and then VWAP. That's all I have to show. The I have a fire fixed range volume profile, and from that, not lining up, it takes about 1 minute. I have value area high for prior week, point of control for prior week, and value area low, and then I do it for prior day's session, same markets, value area high, low, goal. Additional objective stuff I have on here, market generated is prior day high and low, so which I define as start of session, so wherever the start. I've added these volume profiles on. I do like looking at them, but again, I'm probably gonna have to do this up a little bit. It's too many levels for my liking. It's starting to overlap a little bit, so I probably feel a change. And then the visible range volume profile that you asked about, I like that. Kind of scroll back and forth. It changes based on the information you go in, but it's the same as another volume profile, right? Volume, those stuff to sell off. Now we're getting to use.
I just got short.
Nice. I can see that down in the 20s.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah. Chat, ready for it? What do you guys think? You guys looking short on this? Long, super aggressively? Give me some thoughts, chat. Got a whole bunch of you guys on here. Appreciate you hopping on. Smash like, smash subscribe. Randy short here. Yes. Want to follow Randy? Want to catch up with him after the show? Here's his socials. So Randy Baines on IG. Putting out a whole bunch of videos, man. I don't want to distract you while you're.
Oh, good. Nice. I do a daily recap at community low today, so finally ES broke down for a new lower day, and this is where I'm not trying to cloud you, but some days like I think look at the other like with Nvidia earnings now, I'm putting a little bit of weight on the MQ chart today. So looking at that, it obviously it found a level where it found, and you could say the same thing about ES, but just how I'm looking. That's one day on the trades. But yeah, well, let's see how we handle these 20s now. Like we talked about this previous day's point of control.
No, and again, man, I love having people on. I love talking to different creators. Everybody's got a great way.
Yeah,
And make money.
there's a lot of stuff running going on this morning that kept me from.
It's in and run your system. Let the odds play out. So that was a lot. Very all the way this.
Hey, yesterday was a terrible day. Today we had some pretty good moves.
Whoa. Again, I don't like.
And I can this is insane. Just looking at everything. Everything.
Here we go, man. Here we go. Hello, where would you look to hold this? That's the question. What are you looking for a take from?
So actually, as we're talking, I'm gonna take half off. I took half off. I was in 10 micros. Took half off because we said I'll take it off like we can find something, and I don't need to be greedy and try and hold on to this. It could slide, but at least I got some size in, and I've secured what is it, $300 on the trade. So
Beautiful. DRB low, this overnight low. Lying behind this, looking at my 20 level now ran right through. I could see the potential bounce. So
it's too slow down here. It slides right through it. So let's see if ES takes it. It was funny because yesterday I was on the deck breakout in the morning and I was off for the day and I had a short and then I had a TP at 5,900 laughing at me. Like I took all my size off and I left one runner on it. Everybody was laughing, so I closed the trade before I left the desk. And by the end of the day, what happened? 5,900 hit.
Well,
aggressive one, waited
oh,
for
so
time,
many confidence.
right? Because you're below this level. Now I very well might get my face ripped off. This only side. I think if lower, down below 5 days low. So this is an aggressive play. Gonna manage it pretty quickly to the upside if we start to bounce. Came down through the 20s, build liquidity. Some on the book from here, but we did start to find buyers. Again, very don't like it much. Initially came down, then pop back up. But I don't have a short play on this whatsoever. If we continue lower, I definitely don't have a long play. I'm blocking all up here. So this is kind of my one shot. No long two minis, 59.16. Stop at, and I do think if we continue to see that level, we are going to head down towards the 900s. Some coming on the book above price at 955, but 100 and
You can say this thing, free market. This was a channel that was trading in overnight. Set three. We had the gap up because the courts pretty much said everything Trump is doing with tariffs is illegal.
this
And
so this is one I got.
so the market had a big bounce yesterday.
But
Wasn't sitting.
so that's the beauty, man. You can one person can make money, we can both make money. Neither of us can make money depending on how we manage it. But that's the beauty of trading, man. I thought it was fun at the Tampa seminar. All like 5 or 6 of the guys that were trading live that were presenting and guest speakers were
So they catch that blow.
That first day, like majority of us came out ready to step. It was yeah.
You guys went four to five guys, or five to five guys went long.
Stuff in here, trailers, we get just to take it down.
One of the biggest takeaways from that event for me was seeing, five different traders all win. So so it's not strategy hopping.
So maybe
You just gotta find
this is
there's 1,000 ways to win.
this is the we ran all the way up here last night. Pulled all the way back under the pivot.
Well, the reason I took the more size off was it's price.
So the next day,
Or I could just take more and just.
the
This thing could have, could turn around and bounce right here for all you know. It's slow to consolidate here. So you see something going on that it's not sliding or it's not popping.
Okay, so we have a little pause, a little bounce, a little run.
Especially at the beginning. Just get those basics and get that confidence.
Candle.
That's a $1,500 loss. And I would
wouldn't trust the one that it's on.
like if you have to just be okay with the outcome, right? No matter win or lose.
Yeah, I like this level. I like that area consolidation. If this does this hold, right? So, I'm happy, especially when I go back to a few trades like this where I do enter aggressively. If I entered here and we just ran straight down, I go, not really a great spot. Like, obviously not a spot on the stock where we can even pause and start to find buyers, where we have a lot of volume being traded, but sellers can't take it lower. So I do love the entry on this one. I'm happy with it. With the top end of this consolidation. Didn't get an initial bounce, which I really like on these trades, like an immediate push up. We started to get it here. The longer we consolidate and start to test these lows, the less faith I have in it, the more it looks like we're going to break. But for my trade management on this, I'm getting real mechanical, really systematic. It's one area that I'm becoming way more mechanical. No touching into the down